Here they come.
Welcome to this week's episode of Here They Come. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Jessica Schroeder.
Well, Jessica, this past weekend, Meadowlands Racetrack opened up its 2012 season under the direction of Jeff Garrell. The wagering numbers for the opening weekend were fantastic. Live handle was up 50% on opening night over 2011 and 40% on Saturday night. The total handle was even on the first day, but up 6.5% on Saturday night. So numbers-wise, a terrific opening weekend.
Jeff and his staff have worked really hard to try new things to bring people to the racetrack, such as free programs and free admission. They also tried banking the turns, which hopefully will bring in a new style of driving, which should entice the handicappers a little bit. Our Ken Weingartner of Harness Racing Communications caught up with Jeff on opening weekend to hear his thoughts about the racing.
I always thought I'd get here, to tell you the truth, so I would have been really disappointed if I didn't, although there were so many obstacles put in our path. But I have to say that I thought I would get here, but it's a great night, and it's good, truthfully, to see as many people as turned out. So maybe we're on to something.
I guess one night, but I guess from what you've seen, it bodes well for the future.
Yeah, I think people will be able to figure out at a bare minimum that we are trying. And that's all you can do is try to make it more fun and give people what they want, and make the food decent. And so I think if people think that you're trying, we gave Friday as free admission and free programs. So I'm sure people were shocked when someone handed them a program for free.
There's still work to be done. What's next on your agenda?
Well, we've got a lot of work to do. There's a couple of things we've got to work on. The food is still not all set, and then I've got to try to raise the rest of the money so we can build a new grandstand on the other side of the track.
Thanks, Jeff, for those interesting comments. Well, one other person we wanted to talk to at the Meadowlands on opening weekend was John Campbell. The Hall of Famer has seen it all at Meadowlands Racetrack. In his Hall of Fame career, he's been there since day one. He's seen racing from Shiaway St. Pat winning that first Hamiltonian up to the new opening of Meadowlands Racetrack with Jeff Garrell. Ken Weingartner caught up with John, and he shared his thoughts on the new Meadowlands.
There's always been a certain panache about opening night. Certainly this year there's a lot more reason for optimism with Mr. Garrell taking over the track. We've got some stability now in the ownership, and I think there's going to be a lot of changes to come over the next couple of years. And he's done a great job with his two tracks upstate, and I think everybody feels that he's going to do the same thing here in New Jersey.
Thanks, John. One of the feature races on opening night was a 10-year-old and up race won by Silent Swing and driver Andy Miller. I think one of the great things about this race is you had a 10-horse field of 10-year-old and up horses. And the funny thing is the horses that finished in the top 5 were the older 11, 12, 13-year-olds, minus Silent Swing, of course, who's 10. But to go a mile in 51 and 4 and go almost wire to wire was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting series. I look forward to seeing how that maps out throughout the course of the new season at the Meadowlands. The guy who had the big hot hand on opening night, though, was Andy Miller. He won not only the first race of the new Meadowlands Racetrack meet, he also won the second race, so he was the daily double winner. He ended up with 4 winning drives on the night. He shared his thoughts on not only his opening night success, but the new bank turns at the Meadowlands in this interview with Ken Weingartner.
Any win's awesome, but to get the first win and then back it up with the double is a pretty good feeling.
What do you think about the track and the way it's going to play?
I think it plays very fair. There's horses race from the back, and there's going to be all different sorts. Up front or from the back. The better horses are going to have a better shot from the back. And, it's going to take a little time to get the track tightened up to where it's really fast, so we'll just see how it goes along.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks, Ken, for all your hard work this weekend on opening night at Meadowlands Racetrack. Well, another track that has a future that may be a little bit iffy is Cal Expo out in California. At the USTA District 3 meeting this past weekend, the hot topic was who is going to operate Cal Expo after the current meet ends on June 17th.
Yeah, Cal Expo has been running the racetrack since 2008, so for the past 3 years, and now it's uncertain about who's going to be taking over starting in next August. They're good through the meet this year, through June, but after that, it's kind of up in the air at this point. They've had a couple of feelers, it sounds like, from people that are interested out of state and in state, but as of right now, no takers.
Yeah, John Pavlak was at that USTA District 3 meeting this past week, and he sent back some interesting photographs, including a billboard showing help wanted, no, track operator wanted. And the new meet, which is hopefully going to open August 24th, and like you said, USTA Director David Siegel reported that Cal Expo's Dave Elliott has received 3 feelers, but as of right now, they're still waiting to see how that's going to flush out. But I'm sure the horsemen in California are hopeful something gets worked out between now and the middle of summer.
Well, and as the only track on the West Coast that can even host harness racing right now, I think it's really important for our industry that we still have presence both on the East Coast and the West Coast. Now that the Meadowlands is possibly taken care of, it's time to take care of California. Well, Paul, as we talked about last time, Big Bad John was on his quest to make the $1 million career earnings mark at Pompano Racetrack, and he sure did it this past weekend.
Absolutely. He raced twice at Pompano. First off on New Year's Eve, an ultra-impressive track record performance, 151-1, which broke the mark set by Beach Towel in 1990 in the Breeders' Crown, a race that I was at personally, and recall what a marvelous effort that was by Beach Towel. 21 years later, Big Bad John, 151-1. And after that ultra-impressive track record performance, Big Bad John came back this past Saturday night to score in a time of 152-2, thereby eclipsing the $1 million mark in earnings after winning those pair of $12,000 open handicaps.
And for brothers Dan and Wally Hennessy, it was probably a family affair that night, and Ed Tell was there to watch his horse go over $1 million, and had a couple of interesting comments about how they had to make a choice among 4 tracks on which Big Bad John was going to try and get his $1 million earnings. And I'm just really glad that they were able to do that, and that he's going to come back to Ohio and start his stud duty, of which I'm sure everybody at Midland Anchors is anxious for him to come back. Since the last episode of Here They Come, all the divisional honorees for the Dan Patch Awards have been announced. A closely contested race was, of course, a 3-year-old colt trot between Broadbond and Man of Many Missions, with Broadbond winning out 45 votes to 41 votes. A clear-cut winner was Check Me Out, who had 116 of the 117 ballots cast. And the only repeat divisional winner was See You at Peelers, who, of course, last year won as 2-year-old filly pacer and this year 3-year-old filly pacer.
Yeah, it was some interesting balloting there, Jessica. The one surprise that I saw was in the 2-year-old filly pace, where Economy Terror was a rather easy winner over American Jewel. But American Jewel, of course, who injured herself in a race in Lexington, did not race in the Breeders' Crown and the end of the season stakes, and so that shot Economy Terror up into the limelight. So she was the winner with 78 votes. Not a big surprise there, but hopefully American Jewel comes back off that injury, and these two can hook up again in some interesting races this year for 3-year-old filly pacers. I was also surprised at Foiled Again winning very easily in the older pacing horse category. I thought We Will See was going to get a lot of votes, but Foiled Again, just a remarkable season, and he certainly deserved the honor. So congratulations to Ron Burke and the connections of that horse. So once again, we still have the Trotter of the Year, Pacer of the Year, and the Horse of the Year to be announced, and that'll be on February 12th at the Dan Patch Awards dinner in Florida, and you'll be there, right, Jessica?
I'm looking forward to heading down to Florida once again this year for the Night of Champions. Looking forward to honoring all the horses and their connections, as well as some human awards that are being presented. And I think it's going to be an exciting night for all that are involved.
And for those of you that can't make it down to Florida, there will be live streaming video of the night on ustrotting.com. We'll also have a recap on a future episode of Here They Come, so make sure to bookmark www.ustrotting.com for all your Dan Patch Awards dinner information. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Here They Come. We've got a lot of people to thank, most notably Jeff Gorell, John Campbell, Andy Miller, and Ken Weingartner. Also our engineer, Rich Johnston, for all his help with this week's show. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Jessica Schroeder.
Join us again next time for another episode of Here They Come.